Everybody could stand up. Thank you.
According to an article published on Time.com on June 9, 2008 by Joseph Coleman, the world needs to invest $45 trillion in order to cut greenhouse emissions by 1/2 by 2050. Just as a point of reference, $45 trillion is 3 times what the United States economy is currently worth. So why should we address something if it's worth $45 trillion and we didn't even know about it? Why do we even need to consider it? Well, global warming stands to destroy our planet in the next 100 years, 200 years. It's going to destroy ecosystems, species, our own lives, decrease health. So it's something that we all really need to pay attention to. Recently, data published on the Environmental Protection Agency's website in April 2008 said it took 100 years for the Earth's temperature to increase by 1 degree Fahrenheit, and they suspect that by 2100, in about 90 years, that it will raise anywhere between 3.2 and 7.2 degrees, which is triple to 7 times what it took in 100 years. So this translates into poor health, bad agriculture, destroying ecosystems, killing out species, and a number of other things that we can't even imagine or begin to consider. So I'll tell you the problems and do my best to persuade you to change just the small things in your daily life that can help save our planet. So most scientists believe that global warming is primarily caused by carbon dioxide emissions, and this is all mostly from the drastic increase of usage caused by human behavior. So I'll tell you about the 2 main causes of the problem, which is CO2 emissions and deforestation. So the United States Statistic Division reported on its website in the oil subsection that in 2004, the U.S. was responsible for 22.2% of all the carbon dioxide emissions in the world. That's a fifth. One country was responsible for the fifth of all carbon dioxide emissions. Additionally, the U.S. Bureau of Land Management reported on its website in 2005 that oil accounts for 39% of all the energy used in the United States, and just as a translation factor, that came out to about 830 million gallons of oil a day. So all of those, using the oil is what creates the carbon dioxide emissions. Driving your car, running power plants, anything petroleum-based is creating these carbon emissions and leaving this carbon footprint, as everyone's calling it now, on the world that won't go away for thousands of years. So the second leading cause of global warming is deforestation. And what that is, deforestation is the clearing out of the rainforest, primarily in South America, for commercial purposes, for lumber and distribution across the world. And what the forest would do would be to absorb the carbon dioxide emissions, and by clearing them out, you're hurting yourself. First, you're destroying ecosystems, and you're reducing the capacity for the Earth to absorb the carbon dioxide emissions. So it's a double whammy. So even Harrison Ford, in a recent commercial, I saw it at the movies about a week ago, was talking about how every time you deforest a forest, it's hurting you at home. So it's important to consider the effects and be active about making sure that it can be stopped. So now that we've talked about the primary causes, let's think about some solutions. I'm going to try to do my best to persuade you to just make some small changes in your life. So none of us have $45 trillion in our pocket, but we can all do a little bit to help. Everyone can conserve energy easily in their home. Energy Star, which is a joint program with the United States Environmental Protection Agency and the U.S. Department of Energy, published the following fact on its website in 2008. Energy used in the average home can be responsible for more than 2 times the greenhouse emissions of the average car in 1 year. That's drastic, because you think about how bad burning up fuel in your car must be with an internal or a combustion engine and all that gas that you're putting in. dirty fuel on the freeway. You see all the oil spilling out of big trucks' tailpipes. You think, wow, that must be really bad. You don't consider that your home might be doing twice the amount of damage. So there's little things you can do, like turning off your electricity when you're not in a room, or unplugging your appliances, because the appliances suck electricity even when they're idle and they're not doing anything. You can turn your water off, or you can make sure that your faucets aren't leaking, so that's energy that's pumping that water into your faucet for it to leak out into your sink to do nothing. So that's wasted energy. You can also turn your thermostat up just 1 degree, because that reduces the amount of energy that your home is using. So those are all just really easy, small steps that everyone can take to try to make sure that global warming can be stopped in its tracks. So going green is easy. It's not hard. Even businesses are doing it. Recently, Whole Foods Market began this initiative where they stopped using plastic bags in their stores. So plastic bags take petroleum to make, and then they take petroleum to distribute, and it's a non-reusable source, and people throw them away. They go into landfills, they don't degrade, and it's just not helping the environment in any sort of way. So they said, we're not going to use plastic bags anymore. And on their website, in the media section of their website, they posted the following news release. They said that in a news release released on January of 2007, they said they estimate they will be saving 100 million bags from landfills between Earth Day 2008, so April 22nd, 2008, when they implemented the plan, to the end of the year. So in 8 months, they expect to keep 100 million plastic bags out of landfills. That's 100 million bags that aren't being processed by petroleum and dirtying up the environment. So I suggest that you all go support the companies that are making these green initiatives, so you can be green in your own home by saving energy, and you can go support the businesses that are trying to do the same for our environment. It's not hard to do. Just maybe carpool a little bit whenever you're going somewhere. Maybe don't make that trip. Maybe combine it with another trip on a later date. So just do everything that you can on a daily basis, because the world is what we have to live in for the next couple of generations here, and it has to be good for all of us. So just make sure that you do everything in your daily life that you can change. So thank you. And now I'd like to open it up to any questions and answers if you have them. Or if you have a question, I'd like to answer it for you. Yes?
Are there any alternate energy sources that don't put out carbon dioxide emissions?
Yes, there are several alternative energy sources that are being developed right now. There's solar energy, wind energy, hydro power. All of these are being investigated. It's just that there needs to be more capital that's put into these projects so that it can be taken mainstream, because right now it's accounting for, all three of those alternative energy sources are accounting for less than 1% of the total energy production in the United States.
What do you mean that habitats are being destroyed and animals are suffering? Like what?
Well, when you clear out a forest, all the ecosystems, like the birds, the monkeys, little animals that run around in it, are dying, so they're disappearing. And if it's all in one geographical location, they're all becoming extinct if they're indigenous to that area. Like the little polar bears on their ice caps, the ice caps are melting because the world is warmer, and so their entire habitat is just disappearing right underneath their feet. The ocean levels are rising, so it's destroying the animals that have been around for however many centuries. So thank you for your time, and I appreciate it, and great.